All right, so I'm arranging today Were You There for my spirituals project that I've been working on. Just thought I'd record what I was doing. I've already set up the template and everything, so we're in the right key. And now I just need to start inputting notes. So I'm going to put in the notes first. Um, and let's get this playing back for me. Were you there? When they crucified my Lord, were you there when they crucified my Lord? Oh, oh, oh. Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? All right, so there's the melody in. I'm gonna get rid of that extra measure at the end, and sorry, let's see. Get rid of that extra measure at the end, and I'm going to change this last measure to not have that rest there. So I'm going to change it to 2/4, but I'm going to say still read in 4/4, and that will just get rid of that extra measure at the end. I'm going to switch view to page view now. Okay, switch us back down to this. You can see we've got our melody all typed in. And the next thing, we're just going to straighten things out a little bit. First of all, I want to unlock all these systems here so that they will resize according to the lyrics I'm going to put in. Okay, and so my next step would be to put in the lyrics. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? And then it just repeats that several times. Were you there? They crucified my Lord. And then, oh, right? Yep. Sometimes it causes causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? All right, so I've got the first verse in there. And I want to respace these staves a little bit so that I can, I don't need this much room on the first staff, so I'm going to take this back down to 1.5 and space these staves evenly. And now that, maybe I'll take it down to 1.35 so everything will fit on the screen for now. I can always change this later. But now that I have the melody and the first verse lyrics in there, now I can start working on the chords, and that's the part where there's a lot of decisions to be made. So far, this is all just busy work, stuff that you need to just do to get your arrangement in onto the paper. Let me lock these systems really quick. Okay, they're locked now. And then I'm just going to go over to my chord tool here. And first of all, before I even get into this, I can see right now this is not the key I want to be in. I could do this in C. Right now it's in G. I could do it in F, or I could do it in D. Both of those would be more singable ranges for your average people, right? This right now is going up to a high G on the second line, which is something I could do, but you know I'm a singer, you know, and most people just want to sing in a comfortable range. And so we're going to take this down. I'm going to choose, let me see. Let's choose, I think we'll choose D. And we're going to transpose the notes down. And there you go. All my transposition has just been taken care of for me. Now this puts it more into kind of an alto-y range. You could also go for E flat, but E flat's a harder key to play in. All right, so were you there? So generally our first chord is going to be our tonic chord, our root chord, the chord that is the home base for our key. And so let's just go ahead and put that D in there on the first chord. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Now, D, you got to know that in the key of D, your 5 chord's going to be A7 or A. So you're going to have a 5 chord is going to be A. Your 5/7 chord is going to be A7 chord, right? Okay. And so I'm thinking, let's just do the simplest thing that we can possibly do for right now. There when they crucified my Lord. So basically we're just going back we're going from A7 and then going back to D. And then the second phrase, were you there when they crucified my Lord? Okay, so were you there when they crucified my Lord? Okay, so we could do the minor 3, which is F sharp minor in this key, right? Crucified, we could just go to the A. Crucified my Lord. Crucified my Lord. So we could do that. I like that a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and add in the F sharp minor instead of using, we could do the A or the A7. But I think F sharp minor gives us a little bit more flavor, and it's not a difficult chord. Okay, and then we're going to resolve back to the A or the A7. Crucified my Lord, Lord, oh, oh. Sometimes I'm going to skip that for a second. That's sort of a exclamatory in the middle of it there. Crucified my Lord, oh. All right, so sometimes, or we could do sometimes it causes me to. Sometimes it causes me to. I think I like that. So I'm going to stay with the A7 here. I'm going to figure out that measure in a second, but skipping on to measure 9, I'm going to do the F sharp minor again. And then I'm going to do a B minor 7. And I'm doing the B minor 7 instead of just the plain B minor because it's easier to play. And plus it has extra flavor in it, right? Okay. Sometimes it causes me to tremble. Tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there? Were you there? Okay, I'm skipping forward. I'm going to come back and figure out some of that around. I know that this is going to be a G on there, and I know that this is going to be a D when we get back to there. Now I've got a couple of blank empty spots there in the middle. Sometimes it causes me to tremble. No. To tremble, 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 tremble. Okay, so I figured that one out. I want it to be an E minor 7. I could go with an E minor, but the E minor 7 is going to sound a little bit more flavorful. Okay, now and there's lots of, oh, and that chord wasn't even set up in my computer yet, so I need to go in and edit this chord definition. Go in and define the chord. I'm going to go in and add a couple of dots to this fretboard, right there, and a couple of open. Okay. All right, so how did I figure out that that was E minor 7 what I wanted it to be? Okay, well, the E minor and the E minor is definitely one of the choices in this key. It's the minor 2 chord of this key, but I was doing it more by ear. What we've really got going here is we've got the E and the D both happening in this measure. And unless I want to, switch chords mid-measure and change our complete harmonic rhythm that we've got going, then I need to find some kind of chord that has both of those notes in it, right? So the E minor 7, tremble, tremble, there are those notes right there in the chord, contained in the chord. So let's see that whole phrase. Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. And there's like fermatas on each one of those, so you'd take those slower. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? And that will be just a mirror of the opening phrase, right? So we just want to do it the same. We don't want to get overly complicated with that. Now there really is a lot you can do with this. I mean, this is your basic bare bones harmony for a song like this. I'm keeping in the same key, but there's things that you could borrow. There's probably some places I could add some secondary dominants in here if I wanted to, but I'd have to spend a lot more time working through that. So let's go through what we have so far. There's still one blank spot in there that I need to figure out. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Yeah, I think I want that. I want that little amen there. Okay, so I'm going to go from the 1 to the 4 chord, which is going to be G. All right. So I added more, right? Okay. Crucified my Lord. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Okay, so I figured out that I don't like having the F sharp minor where I put it originally. This is why it's good to just work your way through things like this. Okay, F sharp minor should be back a further measure, and it doesn't sound right staying there. So now I've got to use that E minor 7 again. Now, how can I use this E minor 7? I mean, only one note in that melody right there is an E minor 7 note. Well, the reason I can use the E minor, oh, sorry, I put E minor instead of E minor 7. The reason I can use it is because this is the 5 this is the 5 of the chord I'm heading towards, okay? So E minor is 5 steps up from A7, and lots of times in harmony you can get away with things if you're doing this kind of circle of fifths thing. All right, and so we got, let's do that second line. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? And we're okay with that, because even though this note doesn't belong to that, doesn't belong, but it's okay. And this one doesn't either. My Lord. But we can hear ourselves traveling to that A7 chord, right? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Oh, now I need to figure out what I'm going to do with that. Oh, sometimes. Now, this is going to be the only measure where I'm going to have a chord on every single beat. So I want a D here. I want to go to that Amen G chord. And then I want to go back straight to D. And that's all going to have fermatas over it and everything, right? So, the timing's not going to be as fast as it looks like, everything happening all, 4 chords in a measure, right? So, crucified my Lord, oh, and I pause. Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Let me see there. Tremble, tremble. Nope. Tremble, tremble. Nope. Tremble, tremble, tremble. Oh, I love that. Get a little trembling in there, okay? So now I'm borrowing a chord from another key. I don't have to do this. I could just leave it the way it was, and it would really be fine. But this song sort of has a history of being harmonized with lots of extended harmonies to give it a little bit more oomph emotionally, right? Okay, and so what did I just play? Okay, so we got D, E, G, B flat. Okay, so we need to condense that into a real chord. So this is really a like G minor, a G minor 6, right? Or an E diminished, half diminished 7. Okay, yeah, so that's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it, it's going to be easier to call it a G minor 6. Okay, so I'm going to put in G minor 6. This chord, it even brought up a guitar chord for me, because I haven't done any minor 6 chords yet. And so we're going to edit the chord definition. We're going to go in here. We're going to delete. Yay, because I don't use guitar chords. We're going to delete it, and then we're going to create an entirely new chord. We're going to select ukulele fretboard here. Where are you, ukulele? I see you down there. Okay. So now I've got my ukulele fretboard. I'm going to put a dot here and a dot here. This is a really easy chord to play, but it's going to add a lot of flavor to this. Okay. And I'm going to call this minor 6 group Now this easily could be um, this easily could be a half diminished 7 and E half diminished 7, but instead of G minor 6, it's just so much easier to say. So we're gonna do that. And theoretically, I don't really know right now which one is the right one to say for this key. I'd have to think about that, and I'm just sort of on the fly here. So G minor 6, right? Instead of G minor, there's plain G minor. Now, if we wanted to do plain G minor, we could do tremble, tremble, tremble. And that would be just as fine borrowing that out of another key, right? But I like the added tension that that 6 that's from left over from the E minor chord, right? Tremble, tremble. Oh, that's just sweet. Tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? No, I wouldn't do that. Okay. So, but it's always fun to just mess around with things and see if you can throw in some things from other keys. Okay, so now we've got, I think, our basic arrangement. I could do more to this, but right now it's at a good place for teaching it to people. And so let me just play through it one more time. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble. Tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Right? And so there you go. There's your basic arrangement. I'm going to go ahead and take some time and add in the rest of the lyrics, add in some slurs, clean it all up and make it look nice. And then I will have it all ready for the songbook I'm working on of the spirituals. But that's just sort of the way that I go through songs, and run through the chords, see some of the possibilities in that. And like I said, there's more you could do, or there's less you could do. You could do actually a simpler version of this than I have done. This one's kind of fun because you don't have to stick with the absolute most simplest chords. The melody is flexible enough to allow it to bring in some chords from some other keys, and to play around with some sevenths and things like that. And so this is just a great song. Oh, I need to change the title. I was doing Calvary before, but this is Were You There? Okay, so Were You There? And I typo a lot, so I use the backspace key all the time. So there you go. Were You There? So that's it, and hope that was helpful, and hope you enjoy this, and hope it inspires you to go out and do some of your own arrangements of songs. It doesn't have to be folk songs or spirituals or children's songs, which are a lot of the songs I do because of the people I teach. But any song, you can play around with it and make up your own chords for. You don't have to stick with the right chords. Okay, you can mess around and make it your own. All right, Yukon.